Hi, I'm Doug.
And I'm Mary.
We're exploring Canada and Alaska from one end to the other in a Toyota Sienna minivan that we converted into a camper.
So far on our journey, we have traveled north, the length of British Columbia, Yukon, and Northwest Territories, all the way to the Arctic Ocean, and then back down to Dawson City, turning west and into Alaska. Now we're headed up to the Brooks Range and beyond. Rika's Roadhouse was the end of the line for the road and a ferry loading point until a bridge was built over the Tanana River in the 1940s. The Roadhouse buildings are now a state historical site and museum.
Eielson Air Force Base was named for Carl Ben Eielson, an Alaska bush pilot in the early 1900s who was born in North Dakota. My elementary school was also named for this early explorer.
We decided against crossing this bridge, an abandoned part of the old highway. The 415-mile Dalton Highway was built in the 1970s to access Alaska's North Slope oil fields and haul materials to construct the mostly parallel Trans-Alaska Pipeline. The formal starting point of the highway is 84 miles north of Fairbanks. It is considered Alaska's most remote, dangerous, and challenging road. The BLM says you should expect and prepare for all conditions and be self-sufficient.
The Yukon River Bridge is the only crossing of the river in Alaska at 2,300 feet long. The road surface is only 30 feet wide, and the bridge also carries the pipeline to one side. It took 1.5 years to construct and was completed in 1975. Connection Rock is the location where crews working from the north met crews working from the south to complete the North Slope Haul Road, now known as the Dalton Highway.
They must have a zillion of those road damage signs.
I know. And they must order a zillion new ones every.
Finger Rock and nearby Finger Mountain have been route-finding landmarks for centuries by Native people and later by bush pilots to point the way to Fairbanks. The views from this ridge were spectacular, even in the rain.
So where are we?
Arctic Circle, again.
Again, this time in Alaska. And that noise we hear is a mobile cell tower for the firefighters that are in the area, but they may not need that because there may not be any fires after all the rain we've had just in the last 24 hours. But that is still interesting.
Coldfoot is the last of two places on the road to Deadhorse where gas is available, and marks about a halfway point from Fairbanks to Deadhorse.
This is where we again saw one of the motorcyclists from a few hundred miles back. His partner dropped out in Fairbanks, and he broke down here and was waiting for parts to arrive. Nice guy, but he didn't think it was going to be such hard going or so brutal on his bike.
It is Monday morning, and this is our campsite. Didn't even know it was this pretty because it was so socked in. Sun's coming up. And we're just entering the Brooks Range. Yes, we're in a gravel pit again. And our van is pretty dirty. It didn't get this dirty at all on the Dempster. And we're about 10 or 15 miles north of Coldfoot right now. We only need to do about 120 miles today and the same thing tomorrow, and then we'll take the shuttle up to Prudhoe Bay and put our feet in the ocean again.
There are many semis on this highway, and we slow down and pull over as far as possible when meeting them or when they pass.
Pipeline is visible almost everywhere along the entire Dalton Highway, either where it's buried underground or where it's up above ground like this. But it parallels the highway, sometimes real close like this and sometimes half a mile or so away. the Arctic National Park and Preserve. What is our miles now?
2092.
At 235 is the farthest north spruce, what remains of it.
So why did that person cut it down?
Snowden Mountain. Just read something that said there are no trails in the Brooks Range. No hiking trails. That is one cool set of mountains. Would you like to look at that out your back window every day? Fireweed in bloom on the side of that mountain. It's purple or pink almost. Boy, this is better than driving through Yellowstone. You know that? Or Glacier even. It's so green and lush.
And that's all.
The Brooks Range is North America's northernmost mountain range and runs in an east-west direction. We thought that the drive through these mountains was some of the most wild and spectacular country we have ever traveled, even rivaling national parks. This was a noted location of the most northern spruce tree in the country until someone cut it down.
Just boom!
You just come around the corner and there it is.
We're at the pass right now. This is the top of the pass.
Pump station number 4 pushes oil over the Brooks Range. We notice that there is cell phone service within a couple of miles surrounding the pump stations that are currently in operation.
How are you guys doing today? Not bad. Beautiful day.
Yeah, it sure seems like it.
We decided to camp for the night at the bottom of Breakdown Hill. Later, we helped a young couple in a southbound pickup camper who pulled in with a flat tire. They had never changed a tire before and didn't know where to start.
Eating our wine and cheese.
And the wind is ripping outside.
Yeah, geez, I bet it's 40 miles an hour out there.
We heard a lot of warnings about Breakdown Hill. It's narrow, steep, slippery, and curves at the top, so it's blind to oncoming vehicles. The sign says radio ahead before approaching, but we didn't have a radio, so we waited for a big truck to follow up. They approach fast because if they lose momentum, they won't make it up.
Yeah, I can see going off on the edge here, wrecking your tire.
Grass is so vibrant, it's like emerald green.
We saw several vehicles off the road and abandoned, some with for sale signs. The cost to send someone up hundreds of miles to retrieve them exceeds the value of the car.
This is called Franklin Bluffs.
The last 35 miles to Deadhorse are paved and the smoothest traveling of the entire highway.
Like other tundra towns, most Deadhorse buildings are built on stilts to keep the permafrost from melting. It's what you would expect to see if an oil company decided to build a town. It's sort of ugly, industrial, and faceless. People come here to work and nothing else, so there's not much else here. Some of the lodging places are called hotels now instead of camps in an effort to attract tourists.
We did make arrangements to take a shuttle bus to Prudhoe Bay, which is part of the Arctic Ocean. Then we explored around the town a bit and found the store and evidence that some well-known explorers had been here before us.
Join us next time when we'll dip our feet into the waters of Prudhoe Bay, see a lot of Arctic wildlife, and we get chased out of a boondocking campsite for the first time.
Thank you for watching.